This will be part 12, and I'm going to start at Luke chapter 9, verse 12, and go from there. He was telling his disciples who was sending out, well, okay, I was going to say the disciples returned. So what is this? It was late, the 12 came and asked him to send the crowd away so that they can, not may, can go to the village and find lodging and food. He told them, we will give them food, but they said, we have only 5 breads and 2 fish. I'm getting rid of the word loaves and breads. Hebrew language, if you just go by the Hebrew concordance, even though that there's a lot of words there, I think somebody said there's only like a 20,000 word vocabulary. So don't need that to have different meanings for different things. So 5 breads. This is in a quotation mark or parentheses, so I get rid of text like that. And he told them to sit in groups, not about 50, he just told them to sit in groups. And don't need this here. Then he took the 5 breads and 2 fish and looked to heaven. If you want to know where the location of heaven is at, there's a video down below. And asked for a blessing. This could be a favor, his favor. Asked him for his will to feed them. The word blessing is not being used correctly, even when I'm editing the text. I've got to look at that later from all the verses that I've done. Then he broke them and put them in bags. Whoops. What ran their bags? Their bags and gave them. And I passed it out to the crowd listening. Oh, it's here. To here. Okay, then he broke them and put them in their bags and gave them to his disciples to pass out to the crowd. Okay. Not baskets, see? And everyone ate from the broken pieces. The leftover were picked up in 12 baskets in their bags. in their bags, in their 12 bags. And then they were alone. They don't, the word praying is out of context, because if you get rid of these verses here, he asks them a question. You don't ask them a question while you're praying. So, who do the people say I am? And he said John the Baptist, which would be reincarnation. Others Elijah, uh, um, Elijah, reincarnation, or one of the prophets from the past has risen again, reincarnation. Then Jesus said, "Who do you say I am?" Peter said, "His Christ, who is to suffer." Now, Peter is using the word correctly as a title of the one who is to suffer and die, because our Creator commanded it. So, let's see here. Okay, here we have the word Christ of God. And I've got of YV, but Christ of God, that isn't really a correct title. It does mean to suffer, and we have text from a couple books talking about, it was written by either Ezekiel or Isaiah, that he was to suffer, is Christ who is to suffer. When Peter's putting it this way, he instructed them not to tell this to anyone, meaning that Peter was aware of the text, and now our Creator has given it to him as his Christ who is to suffer, and meaning this one from our Creator who is to suffer, and not to tell this to anyone, meaning that he is to suffer. I'm going to put not suffer but die. Who is to die is Christ, the one he is willed to die. Okay, that's more truthful. I am your son for man, but I must die here. Not suffer many things, but die. Die over here. By being rejected by our elders, tribes priests, they aren't chief priests, but tribes priests and scribes. But after I am killed, this still means die, I will be raised up the next day. Here it says, Jesus says the third day. Well, that's a lie. I've already proven that in the past videos. So the thing here is it will probably show up here as we go through, but Jesus did not take 3 days before he was walking on the earth again. Why don't I have be raised up the next day? Oh, yeah, see, it's crucified on the day that they're preparing their ram for the Passover, which is why a lot of the people were not gathered around him. And also Jesus is preparing getting to that inn, and then he's telling them, and then he's arrested that morning, which is part of night and daylight is one day. So when it says the next day, they crucified him on this day of preparing the Passover meal. And then the next day he rises because they went to the tomb to put more, they put like, there are certain plants that bugs don't go around because they're letting off an odor. So this is what they were putting around the body that was laid, and then why they wrap them in cloth, all that's in the video below. But the object is he was gone because the stone rolled away, and the angel told him that he is in Galilee, or by Lake Galilee. Here, he told them, if anyone wishes to come after me, and take up his cross daily. Now, this could only be known after he is to die on the cross. So this reference to the cross would not have been this suffering of pain. Take up cross daily, you're supposed to suffer. No, you're not supposed to do this. In fact, I bet you there's the preachers that will preach this verse that you're supposed to suffer daily and die for Jesus by suffering for him. You can't. You can't take up a cross to follow Jesus. Your way of life is to be obedient to our Creator, to be forgiven. Okay? Wishes is a word he would never use. Here, again, wishes. Whoever wants to save their own life will not have life with me. And that's speaking to those that meditate and have this sex practice with the female goddess, because they think that they need this practice to become a god. I've said this a few times, so I'll say it again. In the East, those that meditate daily for 10 years will start experience this, being will come up and talk to them, and they'll tell them that, yes, I'm dead, but I did the same thing you did, and I'm a god. And then they'll perform things that would seem like they created. Example, they can create anything that is what we see today or the scene at their time, to recreate that around them, to fool them that I just created all this and I'm a god, or I'm godlike, and I'm living out here in the abyss. This is their heaven. If after they're meditating for 25 years, it happens to them every day that they're talking with these beings. So this is the East's life of understanding that there is life after death. It's very easy for them to prove by having everyone meditating for that long to start experiencing this. You can do the same thing without having this sex with the female goddess, just the first video below. That's what makes me different from everyone else that you know. And you can prove it to yourself. Those males can visit the abyss, talk to the dead, and know they have a soul. Whoever dies for my sake, they will live with me. Okay? Not who will save it. You don't have anything. You can only hope that you can save. So it takes Jesus' mercy or compassion or his forgiveness to enter into heaven with him. This is all earthly, so it has nothing to do with what our Creator is talking about, living with him in heaven. Whoever is ashamed will, Son of Man, he will be ashamed when I come in my glory, which we're talking about the second coming. Okay. Here's Jesus being stupid and saying some of those standing here will not taste death until they see the kingdom of YV. No. After these teachings, it says some 8 days after these teachings, and this would be a reference of setting time in when I start putting the books together, that you say, well, you're throwing out this timeline. This is not needed, because we know that, let's look at the text, what's going to happen here. After these teachings, he took Peter, James, John, and James up to a hill to pray while he's actually petitioning YV. And here they added the word God. So YV's in italics, mean that I'll change it, God, to YV. And while he petitioned YV, his face and clothing became white and shined, gleaming, shine. It's not like it's radiating light from their body or from his clothing and his face. It became white. I want to say ghost-like here, but I'm going to use the word shined anyway. Leave that as a word I got to take a look at later. And then 2 males were talking with them. They were Moses and Elijah. And they appeared in their glory, so it means that they were also shining in white. After talking with Jesus, they disappeared. They depart. They disappeared. Can't have them ascending. They appeared. They disappeared. They spake about what he was to accomplish in Jerusalem. Later, Peter and his companions fell asleep. They were fully awakened when they saw his glory, and then said, no. This is after this, so this is like added text that you can tell because it's reading way out of place. Later, Peter said to Jesus, let us make 3, not tabernacles. Tabernacles is a Catholic religion word, and it's false, meaning these were the markers to say this is what happened here. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. So there's some markers for each of them that they met there. While he was talking, a cloud formed over them. And now here they were afraid, and they entered the cloud. Like, the cloud means that it's above the land. If it was a fog, it would have been on the land. But here they're going to have them walking into the cloud, that our Creator is going to speak from. No way is our Creator going to allow them to do that. So that's just stupid words being added to the text here. And why his voice came from the cloud. Jesus is my chosen one. Everyone is to listen to him. Chosen one, his holy one, same thing, same meaning, but when it means the word holy, it means the most favored from our Creator, his chosen one, that he has chose to do this. So, again, the Trinitarian would have a hard time with that verse as well. They make up all kinds of things to say that isn't what it says. Okay, now, after he spake to them, Jesus told them to keep his report until the days after I rise. Okay. He has told them before there's a few things that they aren't supposed to say or talk about until after he is raised. At daylight, they came down from the hill, and a great crowd met them. The male from the crowd shouted, "Teacher, I beg you to look at my only son." Now, here again, this is going to have, he's explaining to Jesus that a demon will seize him, and then he screams and is thrown into a convulsion. This is epilepsy. And after, spit came from his mouth, and then it leaves him. I asked your disciple to cast it out from him, and they could not do it. Jesus told them, "You are like this unbelieving generation," not perverted, but Jesus said, I'm trying to read this without these words here. Jesus answered and said, "Unbelieving and perverted generation, how long will I be with you?" Well, he's not talking about everybody. So he's talking directly to the male and his son, and Jesus keeps telling people they have to have trust who he is. So here it is that I need the words, "You are like this unbelieving generation. How long will I be with you? Bring your son to me." How long would I be with you before you believe me or before you trust me? So I'm going to add all that because otherwise the question is not being answered correctly, or the question is not being given correctly. So how long will I be with you before you trust me? Meaning that he sent out his disciples to come back, and even they were telling him that they were saying that I was given this authority to cast out demons, and then he says, "Okay, well, now I've got this son and you can't do it." So, or they couldn't do it. And then this is actually a story when they came back from being sent out. So you can see that this is pretty much out of order. While the boy was coming to Jesus, the demon threw him into a convulsion, and he rebuked the demon. After healing his son, he went back to his father. Okay. I was just making sure that when I was reading it, that in between the words, I've already explained a lot of these things. Amazed at the greatness of YHVH at the authority from YHVH. Authority gave Jesus, YHVH gave Jesus. Gave Jesus. And this here doesn't mean that they were all had a wonderment about what was going on, and then when they seen him do these, they were witnessing these healings for himself. But remember, it was just the other text says there was a crowd with him. So I have those words mixed up because it's just saying, did it have a crowd? Yeah, there was a crowd there. So, okay. The crowd is still there. Okay. No, this here is just out of text and it has this when you're reading it, like where's it coming from? What's it doing? Like in there. So it's just this our creator or Jesus has already been explaining this stuff. He wouldn't be condescending with saying these words. So it concealed them so that they might not perceive it. We already have our Jesus telling us a prophecy of our Creator telling them that the evil ones are not going to be forgiven when Jesus is walking on the earth, and they'll never understand who He is. And so He's made sure that they won't. So this here is not really in the correct place or the truth to be said were here. The agreement rose among His disciples, which of them will be the greatest. So Jesus took a child and had her stand by Him. I added her because there's not that many women in the Bible, and I just want to make sure that we include women in as many places as we can. Right now, there is no text that I've seen in the four Gospels that says women are going to heaven. So, yes, ladies, I'm aware of that in the text. And he told them, whoever receives John is for me, not receive. You can't receive Jesus. For, yeah, receive, those are all wrong. We just had this verse above about who's the greatest, even though John is the greatest prophet, everyone is equal because we all will enter into heaven, or those of us who will enter into heaven have the same reward. We are in heaven. Yeah, this is easy to understand, and the sun explains itself after you clean it up. For a vocabulary, whoops, there's what do I do? Oh, for vocabulary that doesn't have 20,000 words, are limited to 20 to 30,000 words. Only the English language that has like 60 or 80,000 words now in our language. Something like this would be added to our vocabulary, not back then. A few disciples ahead of him to a village to make arrangements for lodging for them. So this here, village of Samaritans. Now, I've explained before where Samaria is. So, I mean, I don't need to get into that. But the object is these are called Samaritans that would have been from the city. Like the city had their own naming of their people there. And that's really not true. It would be the people that would be living in Samaria. but they're actually, those that were living there would have been in a tribe's land, so they would have been named after the one of the sons from Israel's. So because that was their land that passed down to their descendants, and I think it was King Omar that established um, the capital city, Samara. Um, Anyways, I've discussed that before, so lodgings for them, just changing the words to make it easier to read. Traveled to Jerusalem, because he was traveling to Jerusalem. He approached for his ascent, and so he sent out to go to Jerusalem. Now here, there. Let's see. I think I've got. No, this was. Let's see. What word do I want? Um, I'm trying to think of how to spell it correctly. So let me cheat. Okay, come on. Okay, I'm not sailing under Jesus here. No? Knucklehead Head don't have it under maps. Well, let's just do Jerusalem here. Let's stop playing. Getting closer with this map here. Well, here's the route that Jesus is going to take. But along here is two villages or cities. And that's where Jesus is going to be ascending to. So how come it's not easy to find today? That one I want. Now Bethany is down here. So it's him going up, coming down, then going up, then going down, then going in. I think other maps have a Bethpage over in this area here. But either or, we're talking about this area now that he's going to go into Jerusalem. I'm just trying to give you a visual of where we're at here. The day approached for his ascension, so that they sent. So he's although this might this ascension is talking about entering into heaven here. So days approach for his ascension, meaning that, yes, he's going to die on the cross, I guess. His body's going to die on the cross. I guess I'll say it that way then. But this, I thought it was approach when I seen approach and ascension. I wanted to make sure you understood that this ascension was actually ascending up. But I got it wrong. Sorry about that. Okay, so he sent a few of his disciples ahead, and so we know that they weren't Samaritans. And I tried to explain that's at a different location. That's almost up by Lake Galilee, and you see we're next to Jerusalem. They did not want him there because he was traveling to Jerusalem. I don't know why they wouldn't want him there, but they did not want him there. Okay. Because one of those towns was that he was there. He was raising Lazarus, so those words are probably going to get completely removed anyway. When James and John heard this, they said to Jesus, "Do you want us to ask for fire to come down from heaven and kill them?" I don't think so, but I'm going to leave that in the text right now because there is enough text here that Jesus is going to, this would be something that maybe Juice would say, not James and John, but Jesus rebuked them. You do not know what kind of spirit you are of, which this is not. No, this is untruthful. Now I'm seeing this little thing here, and it means that all the text from here to here has been added. Well, I'm going to use it this time. Your son from man was not. I was not sent to kill, but to call mine. And then they went to the next village. So this was pretty much talking about Bethany before they get to Bethpage. And the thing here is, a lot of this might be gone because it's just not true that they're asking Jesus, shall I ask fire to come down from heaven to kill him? No, that's our Creator is the one who sends fire from heaven. So they can't even do this. But I'm leaving it there, and I'll show you how I'm getting rid of it later. Someone said, Jesus, I will follow you wherever you go. Jesus told foxes have holes to lay in, birds have nests to lay their young in. Thou, your son from man, have no place to lay my head for rest. He told another, you will herald for me, not follow me, but you will herald for me. But he said, first I must go and bury my father. No, yes, I'm changing the word follow to herald because Jesus is going into Jerusalem, so he knows that this is the ending. So it's not that if you follow him, what is he going to do? Follow him into Jerusalem? And here he's talking about permit me first to go. No, I'll bury my father. But the object here is to go and herald for him, meaning to go around to city to city to tell him Jesus is here. So not to follow me, but to herald me would be more correct. But then Jesus is going to answer him about the dead here. He told him, allow your family to bury him, and for you are to go and herald everywhere my kingdom from YHVH. So that's not proclaim, but this is why I'm using the word herald here and herald above, and not follow me, because he's telling proclaim everywhere. Okay. Um, yeah, I guess what I'm looking at down here looks back. These are like mine from my kingdom from heaven, or from YV. And this means that heralding Jesus and explaining Jesus' kingdom from everywhere is the work that our Jesus is telling people to keep speaking about him to other people. Okay. These are like mine for my kingdom for my kingdom for YV. I don't think I need to get into every little thing there, but I think that would have been pretty easy once you see it. And the Lord appointed 70 others. I don't think so. And sent them by two everywhere in every city they had not been to. So this is like you haven't heard any traveling through Judah. Um, there's, oops, I just noticed the time is bad too. So let me sum this up here. When he sent out the disciples, it was said that he left them from this city up here and they went out. But actually, he sent them out here and then they met here and then he went to Jericho and then come back into Jerusalem. Because his final trip is this little bit right here, these last two cities. These last two cities going in. So he sent them here, and it's saying he sent 70 others. Well, he's calling them. And it's just not he sent 70. He just appointed others, sent them by twos into every city and place, and they had not been to, which would have been Judah, and over on the other side of the Jordan River. Okay, and he told them my heart. He's telling pretty much that the people are willing, but they're not fully believing. Example: people call themselves Christians today, but they don't follow what Jesus says. Jesus says that not to work on this on the holy day. Well, I've yet to find Christians actually stopping and not doing anything on one day a week. I know a few, but for as many Christians there are, first thing they do is leave church and go to the store and buy donuts, come home, stuff like this, that they haven't prepared their full meal. They rate their full meal, and it was to have it ready for the next day and then prepare it to set it out and other things. Um, uh, there are many things that our Creator has commanded us to do that Christians just don't do. So this is what Jesus is saying. The harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few, but they need to be called quick. They need to be called to actually obey and to be righteous before our Creator, not just to be, yak, I believe in Creator, and then go hang around with the faggots down at the bar, Um, it's just, they don't follow what they've read or known in the Bible. They think they're okay, and this is where Jesus is going to tell them later. Many will call me Lord, Lord, but I don't know you. That's the simple fact here. But Jesus is seeing that the harvest is plentiful, but my laborers are few. He knows that they need a little extra push to get there. As their Lord, I send you as laborers for my harvest. And I'm sending you to my rams, not lambs, but rams that are among wolves. Um, like everyone today is in a secular world. So this is what was Jesus was telling them that that's the way it's going to be when I'm gone, or not. That's the way it is right now around the promised land area. So you can, and he's sending them out as well. Oh, yeah. So you not carry a purse, bag, shoes. No, they need to have things with them. They even carried a sword on their side. So um, this this these things, they needed these things. Greet everyone. You're to greet no one on your travel. You are to greet everyone on your travels. I've changed it from no one to everyone. You're supposed to be polite. You're supposed to say hello. You're supposed to be that light that, like Jesus, to show kindness at all times. So can't have no one on your travels. Yes, you're going out there to greet everybody. Hi, and did you know that our King is walking on the land today, and he's heading to Jerusalem? Um, and here, whatever house, like peace to those in the house. Peace beyond this house. No, it's those in the house, not just the house. And here your peace will rest upon him. No, and then it will return you. No, this is not true. If a male of peace, there your peace will rest upon him. No, uh, that's just not true. Jesus should be lying when he says those things. Um, Stay at their home, eat and drink, and whatever is given to you for your teaching, not your labor, but your teaching, is your wages. And do not keep moving from house to house. Well, he sent them to go from around wherever. So, um, heal my sick, teach them my kingdom from YV is for them, has come near to you, not near to you. That's wrong. He's calling them even after he's left. He knows he's leaving. This is the favorable year of the Lord, and he knows he's going to die, so this is not for has come near you. This kingdom is for them that obey. Yeah, this just double word. You get the idea from the text as you leave. Shake off the dust from your feet. This is pretty much being all put right here, just being reset different. Shake the dust off here. The sandals. Sandals? Yep. Your feet are in your sandals, but shake the dust off your sandals. Um, yeah, it might need to be referred back to feet. I don't, I'm just doing too much here. Oh man, 40 minutes. I should have stopped a long time ago. Anyways, I'm just sure that, yeah, this was not being needed, but I gotta quit in this. It's almost 50. It is 50.